Sherry Johnson, the ripple. The ripple, Sherry Johnson.
Friends, do you see this pebble? It's tiny and may not look like much, but if you warm it up and toss it just right, it'll skip. And every skip creates a ripple. This pebble has the potential to make an entire lake full of ripples. Never underestimate the power of small things. Like pebbles, we make ripples too, but our ripples stretch further, touch others, and can last for years. I want you to close your eyes. Think back to a random act of kindness that left a rippling impact in your life. Was it a gift that later became a hobby? A book shared by a friend? An inspiring lesson in school? Raise your hand if you can remember the pebble that created a ripple in your life. You may lower your hand and open your eyes. In my family, numerous ripples were started because of my Nana. My Nana was the oldest of 7, married, and had 4 children of her own. She had a love for the written word. Books would line the shelves of her home. She'd always encourage us to stop, take a break, and read. She'd correct our grammar, our pronunciation, and even taught us a few Latin words. My favorite, pecunia, money. So how far did her ripples reach? 3 of her children grew up to become teachers. Nana herself was a substitute teacher for over 14 years. Her ripples ran in her community. 2 things that were important to Nana were serving and going to church. As a child, I would visit various churches and help with their food banks. We'd go ahead of time, pack and fill the bags, and then return to pass out full bags to others. I knew what we were doing there, but I didn't quite get why. I get it now. Feel it now. It's inspired me to participate in my church's food bank, to help with my church's homeless ministry. I'm not there to be righteous or pious, but as my pastor says, you are blessed to be a blessing. You don't have to, you get to. And because Nana always brought me, it was second nature for me to bring my own children. And it warmed my heart to watch them connecting and serving with others. Working with the homeless inspired my son. And for his Eagle Project, he collected, repaired, and donated over 25 bikes to the local homeless shelter. A serendipitous encounter even led to us meeting one of the recipients. He shook his hand and thanked him because until that moment, he'd walk or rely on the bus. But now he had his own transportation. What a blessing to see a ripple in my lifetime, but know that it's already touched the next generation. You know the funny thing about a pebble? It doesn't realize how important it is. It doesn't know how far its ripples will reach. Quite often, it's a simple act that's easily forgotten. When I was in college, I had a sore throat, so I went to a doctor off campus. During small talk, she found out that I was studying Spanish, and during that visit, she invited me to join her on a missions trip to Honduras. That trip changed my life. It was my first time on a plane, my first time out of the country. Before going, my biggest worries were grades, friends, money. But my worries were trivial in comparison to their needs. The children were bathing in dirty water. The parents were struggling to find food and jobs. While I was there, I was washing my clothes on a stone sink, sleeping in a hammock, and using an outhouse with scorpions. But my experiences were temporary. For those villagers, it was their every day. And yet, they were still at peace. Things whistled. That trip was hard, but it cemented my faith and helped me to appreciate my life. That sore throat was a pretty small pebble, but its ripple has led me to travel the world and has influenced me for over 20 years. Remember that you can toss a pebble to anyone and at any time. Maybe it's a smile, helping someone who's dropped their groceries, sending a card, or offering a compliment. We never know what others are going through, and your pebble may be just what they need to create a ripple in their life. Have you ever thought about the pebbles in your life? The ones you picked up and the ones you've walked past? Every day, we have the potential to pick up a pebble and make a ripple in someone's life. Our ripples can be loud, just us, or simply, but in either case, action is required to create a ripple. I want you to look at this pebble. I want you to imagine its future ripple. What impact will it make? What impact will you make? Let today be the day that you make a ripple in someone's life. Never underestimate the power of small things. I want you to take this pebble, warm it up, and contact